Tonight, concerns over Spencer Gulf towns flagged as ports of proposed nuclear waste shipments, and the ancient hunting technique helping Broken Hill locals unleash their inner warrior.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. The federal government has named Port Pirie and Whyalla as potential nuclear waste transport ports to carry waste to the proposed nuclear dump. Environmental campaigners claim it will have numerous side effects on the Iron Triangle.
It's a controversial plan which has divided Spencer Gulf towns, and now the federal government has flagged the Iron Triangle as potential nuclear waste ports, leaving environmental campaigners outraged.
And now the federal government is targeting Iron Triangle cities, Whyalla and Port Pirie, including also the potential for waste transports to go through Port Augusta.
If the plan does go ahead, shipments of nuclear waste are set to come in from the UK and Lucas Heights.
The intention that they would receive 2 shipments of irradiated nuclear fuel waste within the first 2 years of operations of a proposed waste facility in the north of the state.
The low-level waste is quite movable by just regular trucking on the normal road.
There are fears that transporting the waste through the region will have severe impacts on health and tourism in the Iron Triangle. But member for Grey, Rowan Ramsey, says the radioactive levels are so low that it wouldn't pose a risk to the community.
I believe that this would clearly compromise safety in South Australia and in those local communities.
The people that work there don't wear protective clothing. It is not in shielded drums, and they can work there for 10 years to get the equivalent of one CT scan.
With a site for the nuclear dump still yet decided upon, Ramsey says this is just another scare tactic.
There's not even a decision made that this facility will be situated in South Australia. Now, I'm very hopeful it will, because I've thought all along this is a very good opportunity for a small country town with virtually no risk.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
South Australian police have announced a $200,000 reward to help solve the mystery of the suspected murder of Tanya Ebert. The plea for information to find Miss Ebert's body comes nearly a year since the 23-year-old mother was last seen. The missing persons case has left her 2 young boys orphaned and a family in Germany with no closure on what happened to their daughter.
We want to put this matter to rest. We want to find Tanya and bring peace to her family. And some answers for the kids as they move forward with their lives.
Police say her husband, Michael Burden, who fatally shot himself at the couple's Manor Hill property as authorities conducted investigations into his wife's disappearance, is the only suspect in this case. Emergency services were called to Port Pirie's smelter after a small blaze broke out in the new TSL furnace at the weekend. It's believed oil caught alight and triggered the fire, leaving the city in a thick blanket of smoke on Saturday afternoon. Fireys quickly got the blaze under control and no one was injured, but the fire did cause minor damage to the new furnace, which was back fully operating again yesterday. Canada Road in Broken Hill's industrial zone had to be blocked off at the weekend after a semi-trailer carrying an excavator crashed into the overhead railway bridge. The excavator hit the low clearance bridge at around 1:30 on Saturday afternoon, causing the busy road to be blocked off for about 4 hours. The damage is expected to be more than $500,000. It's understood the truck belonged to the contractors working on the Wentworth pipeline. The federal government is encouraging local sporting groups to apply for funding grants from a pool of nearly $30 million. The grants hope to boost sporting club infrastructure and ultimately attract more participants.
It's a cash injection for local sporting clubs to bring their facilities up to speed. The federal government has announced community sport infrastructure grants of up to $500,000, which are now available.
Very substantial grants, so we'd be very pleased to see any of that go into the electorate of Grey.
Projects could range from a new block of showers to new change rooms or something much bigger. The funding is targeted towards infrastructure to get more players on the park.
Anything we can do to help our local sporting clubs, particularly in the country sport, is such an important part of what we do and who we are.
Mr. Ramsey says he's concerned by a drop in the number of people participating in grassroots sport. And one way to keep people coming back each week is to have top-notch facilities.
You can't squeeze more people in if you haven't got anywhere to squeeze them. So that is what it's about, trying to grow the product.
Mr Ramsey says the expansion of women's football into rural areas means the change rooms of some clubs don't have the capacity to hold multiple teams. He says the grants are an opportunity for clubs to assess their needs and get that extra helping hand. Applications close on the 14th of September. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla teenager Alex Gemelli is looking to make history when he runs for council in November. The 18-year-old, who would be the youngest councillor ever, says the next generation needs to be heard.
Still in school, Alex Gemelli has high hopes for the future. The 18-year-old wants to be on Whyalla City Council and will run for one of 9 spots at this year's council election. Mr Gemelli says the city's youth need a voice at the table.
With our youth in the next generation, we will want to see our community brighten up a little bit more to inspire others.
Alex currently serves on the local Youth Advisory Committee as its Deputy Youth Mayor. Despite his age, he's confident he can step up and make a contribution.
I have gained the knowledge, the skills and the confidence to be able to stand in front of the public to show that the youth have their say in our community.
Alex wants to kick a few goals for local sport, promising to push for a new sporting complex to modernise ageing facilities, and helping the homeless is part of his plan through the development of a new community hub.
Where they can stay in and have warm cooked meals and to be able to join in our society.
If elected, Alex would be the youngest councillor in Whyalla's history. He's one of the first to publicly announce he's running in what's predicted to be a large field of candidates. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Good on you, Alex. Still to come tonight, all the sights and sounds from Port Augusta's annual Warfest celebrations and the ancient hunting technique helping Broken Hill locals unleash their inner warrior. The head of Whyalla's Chamber of Commerce says our region is gaining attention from the rest of SA. Ron Hay has just returned from a 2-day Business SA Regional Voice Conference and claims we're being noticed.
Our region is slowly making progress after a few tough years for the local economy. Green shoots are appearing as investments in renewables bring jobs and money to the region, and it's getting some notice from other regional chambers, according to the president of the Whyalla Chamber of Commerce.
We're showing a lot of leadership in the areas, in a number of areas. Our engagement with government officials, ministers is also very positive.
Mr Hay attended Business SA's Regional Voice Conference in Adelaide last week, meeting with other regional business leaders. Regional Voice is focused on ensuring regional chambers have a voice within Business SA, while also helping brief the regions on what's happening over the next 12 months. Mr Hayes says a key focus of the meeting was on how they can provide value to members.
It's a key issue for us all to be able to get members along to the programs and impart information.
Mr Hayes says the discussions are vital in keeping information flowing from the regions through to Adelaide.
Through the Regional Voice, we are now pushing information back into Business SA. We'll look to tailor the program to our region for our regional members.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The Port Pirie Harness Racing Club is set to host meetings every fortnight following Harness Racing SA's latest change. It's a major win for the region, with double the prize money now up for grabs.
Harness Racing SA is set to host 2 meetings a week instead of 3, with races set to alternate weeks in Port Pirie. The change comes with a decline in horse registrations over the past few years.
290 horses in work in South Australia, so there's not enough horses in that block in that group to fulfil 3 meetings.
Given the horse numbers currently racing, that to rationalise the race dates down to 2, and that be on a Saturday and a Monday.
It means Port Pirie will host a meet every fortnight on a Saturday instead of Friday nights.
The next 3 months for a trial period, August, September, October, Port Pirie and Globe Derby race will turn up Friday night. Saturday nights.
It's a major win for our region's horses and their trainers, with double the prize money now up for grabs. It's also hoped it'll boost the local economy, with more participants travelling to Port Pirie to compete.
Great change for the northern region because the Saturday night meetings carry prize, the total prize money of 50,000, whereas our normal Friday night meetings only carried 25.
Their field sizes are larger, which larger field sizes relate directly to increased turnovers.
The first meeting will be held at Phoenix Park this Saturday. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
With its doors finally open, Broken Hill locals got the chance to tour the city's Civic Centre at the weekend. Hundreds of locals turned out to see what's changed since the building closed over a year ago, and most people were impressed with the renos.
Really, really good. It's great to see it open again. It's been shut for a while, but very warm and welcoming.
I think it's great what they've done. They've modernised areas, they've revamped areas.
Whatever event is booked into it, it'll look awesome.
It's going to be a great asset to Broken Hill.
3 events have already been booked at the centre, including the Civic Ball and the Footy League's Best and Fairest Night. Thousands braved the windy weather and flocked to the Port Augusta foreshore for the annual Warfest celebrations. The event had something for everyone, providing festival goers of all ages with hours of fun.
Stretching for hundreds of metres alongside the Gulf, each year Warfest has tended to attract wild and woolly weather, and this year was no different.
My tent is dying, but we're still going.
For the adults, they were able to rummage through over 60 local business stalls, as well as catch a bird's eye view of the region in a helicopter ride. While camel and horse rides on the sand, petting zoos and carnival food were all pleasers for the kids, many of whom also picked their parents' pockets for the range of show bags on offer. And what made you choose this show bag?
I like sour stuff and hard lollies.
For many festival goers, the day is about the excitement and thrills of their favourite rides and attractions.
Really good. It was fun. It was scary when we went down because you could feel your stomach drop. I didn't really like it because I don't like spinning around and going backwards.
Sideshow Alley was populated by those looking to win big. And as always, the Dodgems were an opportunity for family square-ups. And did you get a few good hits on your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the faster car than me.
The local scouts doing their part to help with the clean-up effort. An explosive fireworks display capping off another successful yearly event. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Archery on horseback was popular in medieval times, but it seems it's making a comeback. The ancient hunting technique is being taught at the Broken Hill Pony Club, helping locals unleash their inner warrior.
The earliest depictions of horse archers date back to the 9th century BC. The most recent, 2018, BH.
Australia was one of the few places that didn't have a mounted archery warriors, but we've got them here now today.
Over the weekend, Bianca visited the Broken Hill Pony Club to teach kids and adults the basics of horse archery. It's a technique she uses as a transformational coach to empower people and help others recover from trauma.
They're doing it and they feel amazing and strong, and that's what we want. We want empowered, strong people being part of community.
Bianca says everyone has an inner fire that can sometimes die down through everyday life. Some may lose track of their dreams and others lose motivation. That's where she helps out.
People do this on horseback. They shoot a bow and arrow from horseback, and all of a sudden that inner fire roars back into life. And they feel amazing.
And the younger generations had no problem trying horse archery, with kids as young as 5 and 6 firing arrows downrange.
The group here now has the ability to do something a bit different and maybe build their numbers.
The Broken Hill Pony Club is already planning another archery clinic. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have the region's footy results.
And it looks to be another wet week ahead. I'll have all the local weather details soon.
Welcome back to local footy, where there's now only one more minor round before final start in the Spencer Golf League. Patrick Reinke joins me now to wrap up the recent weekend of footy, and Pat, Solly had a tough time against Prop Risdon.
Yeah, that's right, Abby. Solly had to work hard to beat Prop Risdon on Saturday, the blustery conditions making it tough for both sides. In the end, they managed to get the job done, securing their 10th win of the season. The match was hotly contested, with Prop Risdon taking a 4-point lead into the quarter-time break. Luke Patterson, Patrick Brown and Tyler Eckert were the standouts for the Lions. Solly managed to bounce back in the second and had a 10-point lead at the main break. By the start of the fourth quarter, they led by 32, a lead that proved too big for Prop Risdon to surmount. In the other games, Kyle Colson slotted 7 majors as Central downed West, and South Augusta now need only one more win to complete the season undefeated after downing Port. To Broken Hill, and South also continued their unbeaten run with a strong win over a fast-starting North. The second match saw Central thump West by 76 points. Shane Dalby and Jordan Cox both snagged 5 goals each. Over in Whyalla, Waroona Bay could not manage to score a single goal in their loss to West. They did score 12 behinds though. North got the job done over South, and Rupina beat Central by 15. In Port Lincoln, Wayback had an easy day over Boston. Tasman outlasted Mallee Park, and Marble Range maintained their top spot over Lincoln South. Up in the northern areas, Crystal Brook and Orroroo recorded wins, while Southern Flinders claimed third spot on the ladder over Jamestown Peterborough. And finally, in the Great Flinders League, Tumby Bay, United Yelana and Ayr United all got victories. So Abby, that does it for another cracking weekend of local footy.
Thanks, Pat, and time now for the weather with Amy.
Thanks, Abby. A mostly wet day around the region. Whyalla and Port Augusta both reaching 16 degrees. Port Lincoln a wet and windy 14. Checking the satellite, and cloud across the south with a cold front is bringing heavy showers, gusty winds and a few storms. Strong winds will extend to the north despite clearer conditions due to a high pressure system. If you're out on the waters tomorrow, northwesterly winds will shift southwesterly up to 30 knots with seas reaching 2.5 metres. Sunrise is at 7:08 while it will set at 5:43. Cloudy and some rain predicted for tomorrow. Port Augusta and Whyalla sitting at 17, while Clare will see some showers and a top of 12 degrees. Despite a fine Thursday, rain is forecast for Port Lincoln come Friday with a top of 17 degrees. Wet weather for most of the week in Cleve and Woodner, 18, the top to end the week. Temperatures in Whyalla will rise, sitting at 22 degrees leading into the weekend. Similar conditions in Port Augusta, reaching 24 degrees, while in Kadina, showers and a top of 18 for Friday. Showers for most of this week in Port Perry, maximum sitting at 21 later in the week. Temperatures in Clare will rise just slightly in the next few days, and in Broken Hill, mostly sunny conditions this week. So Abby, let's hope the region sees some more much needed rain.
Thanks, Amy. Bring on the rain. And that's the local news this Monday. Enjoy your evening. Good night.